welcome to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to the Trinity. And notice I have a candle here. And the reason for the candle is it's in memory of the people who were killed in Australia at the Hanukkah party, at the Hanukkah thing at the Bondi Beach. Another unbelievable. I mean, dude, it's like you can't keep up with stuff, man. I don't know, you can't keep up with stuff. Hello, Abla, God bless you. Lord bless you, yes. It's just like, wow. It's just like nonstop, man. And the Jesus said, because evil shall abound, the love of most will grow cold. And it's just, it's hard to keep up with everything, man. Just amazing wickedness and sin. And, I know you guys have all seen the videos of and things are still happening over there. So we're kind of keeping an eye on the news as things are happening too, because things are changing, constantly being updated. I think this is the most famous video that's come up here. This guy named Ahmed, who's a Muslim, came up and Israel is calling him one of the righteous Gentiles. Look what happened here.
You see the man in white there running up and tackling that suspected gunman. There is a struggle, and you can see he appears to wrestle what looks like a shotgun out of that man's hands. Now, the individual in white has not at this point been identified, but local leaders are hailing what they say were extraordinary acts of personal courage by people who just jumped in at the scene. It is very likely that that man saved some lives by appearing to disarm that gunman. We know that at least 29 people were taken to hospital. Among them are 2 police officers. Authorities are saying police were on the scene and engaging in a gun battle with these shooters within just minutes.
The other
police
shooter.
Are also saying that they found a car linked to the killed gunman, which
there's the sun.
Contain devices. Now, the bomb squad there in Sydney is probing that vehicle. They are looking for more clues. They are looking for more details about the motives. And Willie, a massive police investigation is now underway, but we can already say at this point that this is one of the worst gun massacres in Australian history.
We thank you for watching, and remember...
So, yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, just unbelievable. And they, I don't know how many people how many the casualties are up to. Even though I hate the New York Times, they sometimes, when it's a breaking news thing, they're reliable. They are they double check everything. Says officials say the father and son killed at least 15 people at a Jewish holiday. So more than 3 dozen others were hospitalized. Australian police plan to charge the suspect. Australian police said Monday they're expected to bring criminal charge. Really? Oh my goodness. against a surviving gunman in the deadly shooting spree that targeted Jewish holiday celebration in Sydney. Authority says they've concluded the attack on Sunday at Bondi Beach, which they said was carried out by a father and son, was an act of terrorism, but they declined to provide additional details, including the suspect's ideology or exact motive. What could be their motive? That's what this live stream is about, because I want to help the police. I want to help the police to help maybe to find a motive. Ideology. What is their ideology? Maybe they were, I don't know, were they Bolsheviks? Were they Memdaniites? Were they, I mean, what was their ideology? You know, were they, you know, I mean, what are they looking for? You know, were they Buddhists? You know, were they Hindus? Were they Krishna? You know, including the exact motive. I wonder what the exact motive could have been. What is the possible exact motive? What could have been their motive? I'm just wondering, you know, what their motive could have been. You know, let's let me see if I can help them here a little bit. Could their motive have been? How about this one? But once the sacred months have passed, kill the polytheists who this is so pathetic. This has nothing to do with the. Sorry, guys. This is so terrible translation. Let me get a better one. That is such a terrible translation. Okay. Mustafa Khattab has been. This is the CNN Quran. Let's get Halali Khan. Let's get Pikthal. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's go back here. See, when the sacred months have passed, and the 12th month of the Islamic calendar have passed, then kill the mushrikun. Wherever you find them. Wherever you find them. That means, is it in a theater, at a pizza parlor, wherever you find them, on a beach, and capture them, besiege them, lie in wait for them in each and every ambush. So, okay, they're looking for a motive. Okay, they're looking for a motive. Sam Apologetics is the worst. Mustafa Khattab, oh yeah, Dawah channels hand them out. I know, and they're the worst. And then, you know, might as well go ahead and see, well, you know, this applies to mushrikun. It does not apply to the Jews. Does not apply to the Jews. Well, let's see if it applies to Jews. You know, because in the wisdom of the Quran, you know, there's details. It says, fight those who do not believe in Allah and the last days, nor comply with what Allah and His Messenger have forbidden, nor embrace the religion of truth from among those who were given the scripture. Who were given the scripture? The first people is the Jews and the Christians. And so, those are, let's see, what other kind of motive? What else is the motivation? What other kind of verses maybe motivated them? Let's see, fight against them until there is no more. That's not really, let's go here. This one's better. Fight against them till there's no more fitna or disbelief or polytheism or worshiping of other than Allah. And the religion will be all for Allah alone in the whole world, including in the southern hemisphere. $839. Now, what could have been their motive? What could have been their motive? If you look at what the media is saying, one of the reasons this happened is because of the fact that they had guns. There's a big the media is really playing up the fact that the father had guns, and the gun laws in Australia are very, very, have allowed the to have 6 guns. Okay. So Australia has discovered the solution. Okay. Here, see? Let's look at what the Prime Minister of Australia is saying. He says, Australian Prime Minister Albanese proposes tougher national gun laws after mass shooting in Sydney, because they're looking for the motive. And Australian Prime Minister Albanese on Monday proposed tougher national gun laws after the mass shooting. Albanese said he would propose new restriction, including the number of guns a licensed owner can obtain, because this guy's father had it was a father and son who did this. Okay, one guy, the son, his name is Naveed Akram, and the father's name is Sajid Akram. Okay, and it was a father. I don't know if you saw the New York Post. It says a family that kills together. It says Albanese said he would propose new gun restrictions. Okay, because that's definitely the issue. His proposal were announced by authorities revealed that the older of the 2 gunmen, who were a father and son, held a gun license for a decade and amassed 6 guns legally. The government is prepared to take whatever action is necessary, including tougher gun laws, Albanese said. What a hero that he is. People's circumstances can change. People can be radicalized over a period of time. Okay. This guy. Okay. I don't know. This guy seems like a joke to me, but anyway, so gun laws, maybe that's the motivation, is that Australia has such lenient gun laws, and that's why this happened. And, I don't know if this was an issue, but, they got Naveed Akram on ISIS. ISIS. I don't know if this. Okay. I don't know if this might be a motive at all, but maybe this might be a motive. It says alleged Bondi Beach gunman Naveed Akram, close connection to ISIS terrorist. So the Australian S10, look at his face. Look how demonized. Look how demonized he looks. Satan in his face. He was being controlled. Look at that face. He was being controlled by some satanic spirit. Maybe Satan himself. Look at that. Look at those eyes. Australia's National Spy Agency. Boy, those are some spies. Those are some spies, man. Must have been trained by the London police. Is understood to have investigated alleged Bondi Beach gunman Naveed Akram soon after the arrest of an Islamic State terrorist. Akram, 24, opened fire with his father, Sajid, 50, at the Hanukkah Sea celebration, killing at least 15 people, leaving 42 others in a hospital. Akram was apprehended at the scene and is in the hospital in stable condition. The father was shot dead. Joint counterterrorism team investigators now suspect both men, both men pledged allegiance to ISIS before launching the deadly attack. Senior officials said an ISIS-like flag was found in their car, amid speculation that a black flag was discovered nearby. Now, isn't Australia the place where you're having all of these Hamas rallies and all these ISIS rallies on the streets with ISIS flags? Let me see. Okay. So, so they pledged allegiance to ISIS. The agency began monitoring the 24-year-old after July 2019 arrest of Isaac al-Motari, who was an ISIS operative and self-declared Australian commander of the group. Wow. Al-Motari serving a 7-year sentence for planning an insurgency. They want to let him out after 7 years, so maybe he continue his plans, attempting to recruit followers and acquire firearms, even rehearsing speeches ahead of possible travel to Afghanistan. Wow, Australia, what the hell? Oops, sorry, what the hell? Australia began monitoring Naveed Akram in 2005 following the arrest of this guy. Okay, this is the ISIS guy that he was somehow connected to. So there, look, they got the ISIS flag that you've been seeing at many protests in England. And in the Hadith, it talks about the Mahdi's armies coming with black flags. So Naveed, look at his demonic face. Wow, they got lots of pictures of him. Here, this is the hero guy. and he is a hero. He got the old fart.
Oh! C'est un malade. Oh non, gros! Oh! Ouais, mais il y a son pote, il va se faire tirer dessus. Il est trop con, le mec qui alarme.
Now the father was shot dead. So he was that guy right there that's limping away
We're
was
just
shot
learning some
dead.
details about him because he
This is the guy who
has been shot. Now, we are confident in saying that is.
he was shot twice. And he's the guy who rescued the people. Wow. So what could be the motive? What could be the motive? You know, another thing they were talking about, you know, they had several, you know, they were talking about what the motive could be. You know, let me see. Let's see. Okay. Okay, they own 6 guns, so, you know, that's definitely another thing is, you know, that they didn't really like their neighbors. They didn't really like their neighbors. And, you know, so maybe that could be a motive also. They didn't like their neighbors because they interviewed one of the neighbors, and the neighbor said these guys never said hello. They would never talk to anybody. You know, they would never talk to anybody. They never say hello. They were not friendly at all. So that might be a factor, you know, that they were, you know, just they didn't like their neighbors, you know. And then, you know, there was um let's see. You know, I don't know if this might be a factor here. Um, let's see. Okay, verse. This is Surah of Muhammad in the Quran. This is the Surah of Muhammad, so you could really, this is like the heart of Muhammad. You really learn a lot about who he is through this. It says, so when you meet the disbelievers, and there's nothing, لَمَا لَكَيْتُمْ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. In Arabic, it doesn't say nothing. Is this Mustafa? Okay, forgive me. Okay. So when you meet in fight, jihad in Allah's cause, those who disbelieve smite their necks till when you have killed and wounded many of them. I don't suppose this verse inspired anybody. Thus, you are ordered by Allah to continue carrying out jihad against disbelievers until they embrace Islam. Thus, you are ordered by Allah to continue carrying out jihad against the disbelievers till they embrace Islam. So they're looking for motives right now. So how about some hadith? How about some hadith, some actual, that verse was, in the surah of Muhammad, but here are the words of Muhammad. Okay, the messenger said, I have been commanded to fight the people till they say there's no God but Allah. And if they say it, their blood and their wealth will be safe from me. And Muhammad is the perfect example for all mankind, according to the Quran. So they're searching for a motive. How about this? I wonder if this verse, let's see. Okay. فقاتلوا في سبيل الله لا تكلف إلا نفسك. Okay. So let's go here to Halali Khans. Then fight, Muhammad, in the cause of Allah. You are not tasked except for yourself. And then there's these beautiful words. Incite the believers to fight along with you. Incite the believers. See how it says here. Urge the believers. See, Pickthall's trying to be nice. In Arabic, it says, وَحَرِّدْ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That means incite. The word is incite the believers to fight. Let me see. There's another place where it says it even clearer. Incite. Okay. Okay. Because there's a verse that says, I know that in the Arabic, I'm in English, I'm not 100% sure. Let me write it in Arabic. حرد المؤمنين على القتال. Something. Please try again. حرد المؤمنين. Okay, here it is. Okay. Come on, it was right there, and then it went away. Okay, right here. 865 of the Quran. Okay. The word in Arabic, O Prophet Muhammad, urge the believers to fight. Okay. Exhort, the word in Arabic is Ya ayyuha nabi, harrid al-mu'minin ala al-qital. And if there's 20 of you, you can fight 100. No, 200. And if there is 100 of you, you can defeat 1,000. So incite the believers to fight. The word is harrid al-mu'minin ala al-qital. Okay. incite the believers. And it's interesting. It says if there is 100, if there is 200, let's see. No, if there's 20 of you, you'll be able to defeat 200. And if there's 100, you'll defeat 1,000. Okay, so I don't know, is that a motivation? Is that possible motivation for what they did? Let's see what else. Muhammad. Okay. Where is the verses? Doesn't tell where these, and so where these verses are. You know what? We can ask some of our favorite preachers. See this.
Nimr al-Jamal was on his way from Beit Surik, where he lived, to the neighboring Jewish community of Har Adar, where he worked. He opened fire on security personnel at the crossing gate, killing 3 Israelis and critically wounding a 4th. Har Adar residents were shocked.
They have all the rights like the Israelis, and they betrayed big time.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Palestinian incitement in the media, school books, and society are to blame. Following the attack, Netanyahu called on Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas to condemn the attack. Instead, Abbas's Fatah organization glorified the terrorist and said the mourning was scented with the fragrance of martyrs.
The Palestinian Authority, through Fatah, is telling its people that what was done was a religiously positive act. Killing Israelis is a religiously positive act. And this, of course, is the worst message you can give in a religious society like the Palestinian Authority.
Palestinian Media Watch director Itamar Marcus says Palestinian Authority blame doesn't stop there.
So the first thing that happens is the family receives honor. And this is critical. The honor that the family receives.
This is, what he's saying is right, but it's not what I was looking for. Let's see this.
Is it true that every man in paradise will have 72 maidens, Hur al-Ain, and 2 wives? The answer is no. This is not true at all. Every man would have 2 wives in paradise. And if you do the math, you will find throughout history that women are always more than men. As for the 72 Hur, this is only and specifically for those who are martyred on the battlefield, who die as a shaheed on the battlefield. And this is a gift from Allah Azza wa Jal.
Okay, so, Awesome and Hakim, he's telling us that if you want 72 women, not all Muslims are going to get to 72 women. Only those who died. Only those who, are jihadis. Okay, he wants to also show us how we can be martyrs.
Abdul Muqit says, how can we be martyrs? Well, this is so genetic because real martyrdom can be attained only on the battlefield when we're fighting in a just jihad, in a legitimate jihad against the disbelievers. If you die, you're a martyr. So this is the only way of attaining true martyrdom. Other forms, as mentioned in the hadith, if someone dies with a disease in his stomach, if someone dies with lung.
Okay. Let's see. There has to be more about this. Okay. Okay.
You see the man in white there running up and
Okay. So anyway, so one thing that you get, one of the motivations is that you're going to get those 72 women, if you get killed in fighting jihad. And there's approximately 164 jihad verses in the Quran. Never mind the hadith. The hadith also has their list. Okay, but in the Quran, there's 164 verses, jihad verses. Let's read some of them, see if they maybe provide any motivation. And, again, let's look at some of these and see if they have any relevance in terms of ideology or motivation. Here's some. Those who believe and who emigrate to strive in the cause of Allah have deserved God's mercy. So you're going to get God's mercy. Do you expect to enter paradise without God distinguishing those among you who strive? And the word strive is ijtihad, jihad. The root word is jihad. And without those who are steadfast. You know what? I'm going to look at these 3:142. I want to see how it is in the Arabic. 3:142. حسبتم إن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يعلم الله الذين جاهدوا. Okay, do you think you're going to enter heaven? Consider Allah knows those of you who fought jihad. Jahadu. The word is jahadu, which is like the verb of jihad. Jahad. Okay, so 3:142. Okay. Another is okay, 495. Let's look at 495. I'm pretty sure I know what this one's going to be. Okay, 4:195. Let's read it here. First, it says, not equal are the sedentary among the believers who are not handicapped, and those who strive, the word is jihad, in the cause of Allah with their money and their lives. Allah exalts the strivers and with their money and their lives. God promises salvation, but exalts the strivers over the sedentary with great recompense. 495, I wonder if that could be a motivation. 495. Let's look at this. I'm curious to see how in Arabic, because the English translations are never right on. لا يستوي القاعدون من المؤمنين غير أولى الضرر والمجاهدون في سبيل الله. They're not equal to the mujahidun. Mujahid is a jihadi. بأموالهم وأنفسهم, with their money and with their souls. فضل الله المجاهدين بأموالهم وأنفسهم على القاعدين. Allah favors, he blesses. But faddal means he favors those who are jihadis over those who are sitting down. Daraja, a degree. Okay. وفضل الله المجاهدين على القاعدين أجرا عظيما. And he favors those who fight in jihad over those who are sitting at home with great reward. Okay, let's see if any of these are honest. Here, okay, not equal. Okay. So you get more favor from Allah. Okay. Okay, all you who believe and seek reverence of God, seek the ways of Allah's means to him and strive in his cause that you may succeed. What does 535 say actually in the Arabic? Because it's not just about, I don't think it's just about, it says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ittaqu Allah wa ibtaghu إليه الوسيلة وجاهدوا في سبيل. Okay, jahidu means fight jihad in the cause of Allah, in his way. في سبيله. Jahidu, fight jihad. I don't know if any of these are a motivation. Okay. Okay, see, those who believe and emigrate and strive, okay, with their money and their lives. It's always with their money and their lives. So it's with their money and their lives. So it's not really like getting a workout regime or, going on a new diet. Like remember that campaign, My Jihad? My jihad is to take vitamins, or my jihad is to help an old lady across the street, or my jihad is to be overly kind to non-Muslims or something. No, this is something you do with your money and with your life. And Allah exalts those more than others. Okay. Okay, you strive with your money. Okay, those who believe in Allah on the last day do not ask for permission to evade the opportunity to strive with their money and their lives. 944. Let's see how that one reads in Arabic. 944. 940. Okay. لا يستأذنك الذين يؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر إن يجهدون بأموالهم وأنفسهم. To strive with your money and your life. That's a funny thing that in the Quran, the words money, your money, to fight jihad with your money and with your life. اجهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم. And the word أنفسهم literally means selves, their selves, or their souls. The nafs is the soul. So you fight with your soul and with your money. Over and over and over again, it's the soul and the money. أنفسهم وأموالهم. Very interesting. It's to behave. I know there was this campaign. No, they do get more Houris. They get, the 72 Houris is not for everybody. It's only for the jihadis, according to Asim Hakim. Okay, and Asim Hakim is to be believed because his name is Hakim, which means wise. Of course, I'm being facetious, you guys. He's not to be believed. Okay. Okay, 986. Let's see what 986 says. I'm not saying any of these were a motivation. Okay. وإذا أنزلت السورة إن آمنوا بالله وجاهدوا مع رسوله استأذنك أو okay, again, and the first, whenever a surah is revealed stating, believe in Allah and fight jihad with his messenger, the rich among them would ask to be exempt, leave us with those who remain behind. Okay. So, I mean, the surah means there's a command from Allah that you fight jihad, and there's punishment for being among those who are behind, left behind. Okay. Strive with the messenger, even though he only fought in a few battles. Okay, 988. Find out who the best of people are. Okay. ولكن الرسول والذين آمنوا معه, but now the messenger and those who believed with him, جاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم, fight jihad with your money and your life, and those are the best, and they are the ones who will be successful. I don't know if this was a motivation, if there was any of these verses were a motivation to what these guys did today in Australia. I'm not saying shooting at the disbelievers. There's also these verses. There's very special verses in the Quran about Jews. Okay. Trying to see the verse. Okay. Let's see if I can find this. Okay, let's see some of the anti-Semitic verses in the Quran. There's lots of them. There was, interestingly, there was no mention of Jews during the Mecca period. Remember when it was all peaceful and you have your religion, I have mine, and everything is great? There's no compulsion religion. That was during the Mecca period. No mention of Jews in the Quran during the Mecca period. The mention of Jews began when he went to Medina, a city that was a Jewish city, Ithrib, took it over and started persecuting the Jews, exiling them and committing genocide on them. Okay, so let's see. There are many negative, let me see. Shoot. Okay. This isn't really providing me with that. Anti-Semitism in the Quran. Let's see if we can find some of these verses here. Okay. Okay. Shoot. Don't know why this is being so hard. Let's ask Grok. What are some anti-Semitic verses in the Quran?
Like certain Psalms in the Bible or writings from early church fathers, do criticize Jews in harsh ways that historians now label as anti-Semitic. For instance, Psalm 137. Okay.
I said in the Quran. I want anti-Semitic verses from the Quran.
The Quran has a few verses critics point to as anti-Semitic, like Surah 5, verse 82, which warns against taking Jews and Christians as allies, calling them most hostile to believers. Others include Surah 2, verse 65, about Jews turned into apes for breaking the Sabbath. Context matters. These often stem from specific conflicts with Jewish tribes in Medina. Want me to read out the exact Arabic in translation or stick to examples?
Can you read the anti-Jewish verses in the Quran?
Sure, I'll read a couple. From Surah 5, verse 62. And you see many of them racing with one another in sin and transgression, eating unlawfully. Truly evil is what they do. And verse 82. You will surely find the most bitter towards believers to be the Jews and the polytheists. That's the Sahih International translation.
What verse is that?
I was listing a couple verses. Did you want me to keep going or stop?
Tell me what verse that was that says that the Jews are the most hostile to the believers.
That was Surah 5, verse 82.
Okay.
Exact wording. You will sure.
Okay, that was the verse that I was looking for. 582. Okay. You will surely find the most bitter towards the believers, meaning the Muslims, to be the Jews. So there's لَتَجِدُ أَشَدِّ النَّاسِ عَدَاوَةً لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الْيَهُودِ. So it's like the Jews kind of got a special place here of being called the worst enemies of the Muslims. So you got these verses, you got all of these, you've got all of these verses that are calling to jihad, how that jihadis are going to be the most rewarded. They're Allah's favorite. They're a degree above the rest. The same way the Quran says women are a degree below men. Here it says that jihadis are a degree above other men. It uses the same word, daraja, which is a degree. And then it talks about the rewards. You know, Asim Hakim says regular Muslim men are going to get 2 women. Okay, and you can tell this, you can know that this is true because look how many, there's so many more women than men on the earth. And then you also you have the verses of enmity against the Jews, that the Jews are the great, I mean, specifically says the Jews are the greatest enemies of the believers, of the Muslims. So with that, with those kinds of verses, and I wonder if that at all can serve as a motivation for what happened today. And so let's just look and see. Sheikh Asim the Possum. Let's see if there anything else has happened in Australia. Only a matter of time. Australian Jewish leaders say Bondi Beach terror attack was long dreaded. You know, and the Prime Minister of Australia was very greatly rebuked by many people for his unwillingness to fight anti-Semitism. You know, he was. Let's just look here. This is it's just that look what else happened here. There's some other stuff in the news that it just kind of shows, man. It's like okay. Here it says, sorry guy about the language, it says the Jews. A gunman fires 20 bullets into a Jewish family's Hanukkah decorated home in California. This was in California. And he stopped and said, F the Jews. So the house was decorated like this. And he shot 20 bullets into the house. This is in California, Gavin Newsom's California. A gunman fired 20 bullets into the home of a Jewish family in Redlands, California. The family's home was clearly Jewish as they had decorated for Hanukkah. According to the door cam footage, the suspect shouted anti-Semitic slurs such as the Jews as he fired at the home from his car. 20 bullets fired into car. He could have killed people. India issues high alert for potential terror attacks against Jews. India. And then look at this. Okay, this was yesterday. It says smoke bombs. Shoot, these guys. They force you to accept all of their here. Anti-Semitic slogans and smoke bombs reported at a protest in Amsterdam, or Red and green smoke bombs were set off during protests at Amsterdam Museumplein near Continent, whatever that is. The Israeli cantor Shai Abrams performed a private Hanukkah concert. Police were deployed in large numbers as demonstrations continued under the court-approved restrictions. Several hundred protesters gathered where a larger protest had been permitted. Okay, protesters carried Palestinian flags, chanted, including, okay, disgrace, blood on your hands, and child murderers. Okay. Oh, I got some video. You know, the reason I show these things is, like I said, for those of you who don't know, the reason I got this candle, it's in honor of the people who were killed in Australia. So this just happened all over the place, man. And, you know, it just reminds me one more time. I always show this. It's in Revelation chapter 12. Okay. Revelation chapter 12. Talks about Satan being cast down to the earth. And it says, another sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet. She was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. Another sign appeared, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns on its heads. Its tail swept 1/3 of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. This is where people believe that 1/3 of the angels fell with Satan. Its tail, okay, the dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that it might devour her child the moment it was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. And her child was snatched up to God, to his throne. The woman fled into the wilderness, to a place prepared for her by God, where she might be taken care of for 1,260 days. That's 3.5 years. This is during the tribulation. Then war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was not strong enough, and they lost their place in heaven. The great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. Then I heard, see, when his angels with him, so I think it's very clear showing that 1/3 of the stars means 1/3 of the angels, because here again is the reference to the angels. Okay. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, okay, we're going to skip the song, but then it says, when the dragon saw that he had been hurled to the earth, he pursued the woman who had given birth to the male child. Okay. The woman was given 2 wings of a great eagle, so she might fly to a place prepared for her in the wilderness, where she would be taken care of for a time, times, and half a time. That's 3.5 years again. Out of the serpent's reach. Then from his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river to overtake the woman and sweep her away with the torrent. But the earth helped the woman by opening its mouth and swallowing the river that the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. And the dragon was enraged at the woman and went off to wage war against the rest of her offspring. So the Satan is going after the rest of the woman's offspring, those who keep God's commands and hold fast their testimony of Jesus. Now, I wonder if those are not two groups, the Jews and the Christians, that Satan is fighting them. It seems to, anyway, it seems like that's what's happening. It's like, what? Look, Europe, England, Amsterdam, India, Australia. It's like New York, Washington, D.C. It seems like the Jews are under attack. It's just everywhere. What is this? And I just want to just let there be awareness that Satan is the one who is fighting them. And it's a dangerous thing. And I just want to say, as a Arab, I'm only half Arab, but that counts, and Palestinian, that I am against all this violence against the Jews. And I just want to lift my voice in support of the Jews, and against anyone who'd want to hurt them. And so I just want to use my voice to speak out for the protection of the Jews in Jesus' name. I know a lot of people say, oh, look at them, they're so well protected and everything like that. What other country in the world had 300 missiles fired at it? Intercontinental ballistic missiles fired at it. 300. What other country in the world? And you know what? And the way those missiles, all of them missed, except for a very, very few of them. And that makes me think of the water that the devil spewed out of his mouth. But the earth came to her aid and swallowed it. When I saw those missiles, I thought, you know what? This is similar to what that prophecy is talking about, how the earth opened her mouth and swallowed the water. I think those missiles from Iran may have been the flood, So the Al-Aqsa flood. Anyway, guys. All right. Well, thank you for being with us. And if you haven't done it, please do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Yasur sa'idni. Yasur samahni. Yasur udkhul albi. We love you, but more importantly, he loves you. It's true about Grok, man. It's unbelievable. Remember when I asked her about anti-Semitic verses in the Quran, she starts telling me about the Bible, about the Torah, about the Old Testament and New Testament. Says, I said in the Quran. She says, oh, there's only 2 verses. There's only 2. It's like, dang, what is up with that? Who's feeding her this garbage? So that was really, I got no respect for AI. They're talking about this AI boom, that it's going to be this great, world changing, something to the level of the internet, and it's like, I don't know. It seems like garbage. I trust Google more than I trust Grok and ChatGPT. And it could be because there's so many Muslims who are using it that she's kind of like getting an algorithm, kind of all of this, mixing it all together and coming up with these pathetic answers she gives me. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much for being with us. and have a blessed night, and pray for the people of Australia in Jesus' name. Thank you.
If you have ever wondered why Dole apologists lie so much, it's because on a rare occasion that they tell the truth, this happens.
One of the reasons I accepted Islam was the scientific miracles. I'll be honest with you. And now we know that this whole scientific miracles was absolute nonsense.
You're going to have to repeat that.
That the standard narrative has holes in it. That's what I'm going to say.